This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Cleaning up the day after. Strong storms pushing through central Indiana overnight, bringing damaging winds and hail to several areas. This was some of the damage last night down in Mooresville. You can see where at least 4 buildings in the heart of the town were damaged. Here's some new video of damage around Mooresville this morning. The wind to damage some of the rooftops here in downtown. A lot of damage in the area caused by falling trees as well. And we're told that the National Weather Service is surveying the area today. Part of the area was under a tornado warning as those storms passed through last night. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. This midday, thousands of people remain without power. The latest numbers from Duke Energy show more than 34,000 people without power. More than 6,000 of those customers are up in Hamilton County. Around 1,000 Duke Energy customers down in Johnson County still in the dark, while around 5,000 outages were reported in Monroe County. Here in Marion County, IPL is reporting more than 12,000 customers without power. And we know that can be especially tricky as everyone is staying at home and working from home. So we'll keep you updated on those numbers throughout the day. Speaking of working from home, our Todd Clausen is coming to us live from his basement. Todd, what can we expect in the forecast today now that those storms have moved through?
Yeah, Lauren, thankfully the storms are gone, but we still have some pretty strong winds out there. Not nearly as strong as when those thunderstorms came through, but there is a wind advisory that you see that's still in place for a good chunk of central Indiana. Essentially, the whole northern half of the state is under this wind advisory, and that's because we still have wind gusts that are still getting close to about 40 miles per hour. The last hour peak wind gust 32 in Indianapolis, 37 though as you make your way up into the Lafayette area. And these wind gusts are not really going to calm down a whole lot throughout the remainder of the afternoon. It's probably not until late tonight and more so the overnight hours that we see these wind gusts start to subside across the area. It's a northwesterly wind. That's a chilly wind direction. That's keeping the temperatures in the 40s and 50s. And we're not really going to warm much more throughout the course of the day. The one thing that will change, though, is right now we have lots of sunshine out there. You notice these rain and snow showers to the north in Iowa and in the Milwaukee area. These are going to drop down to the south, and that will bring some rain chances, at least here to central Indiana. We are not going to see any snow showers in our forecast, at least here locally, but don't be shocked this evening if you do have a rain shower move through, probably anytime after about 3 o'clock. So if you do want to take that walk throughout the neighborhood, the earlier, Lauren, the better. We'll talk more about your extended forecast and look ahead to Easter as well coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The latest now on the COVID-19 outbreak here in the state of Indiana. 42 more deaths have now been reported by the state health department. Here is a look at the newest map from the state. This is as of this morning. A total of 245 deaths have been officially tied to the coronavirus. Indiana is also now has more than 6,300 cases total. Marion County is the most at more than 2,400. The growth in the cases is virtually the same as the day before. The state reporting 430 new positive tests today. We're going to get more information at this afternoon's briefing from Governor Holcomb. You can watch that live today at 2:30 on RTV6, as well as at theindychannel.com and also on the RTV6 Facebook page. Some families are pushing senior living centers for more transparency during the coronavirus outbreak. At least 31 people have died in Indiana nursing homes and long-term care facilities as a result of COVID-19, including ones in Madison and Johnson counties. Gloria Benefield's 91-year-old mother, Violet, lives at Greenwood Meadows. Gloria says a nurse told her that some patients there have tested positive for COVID-19. Well, now Gloria is worried about her mom, and she says she's stunned by the lack of information she's getting.
I got a call from her last night about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and she was really, really distraught because she couldn't get any help, and nobody would come in and talk to her as to what was going on.
So we reached out to American Senior Communities, which operates Greenwood Meadows. They did not respond to our question about the COVID-19 at that facility, but said, quote, the health and wellness of our residents and employees remains the top priority. We are in close contact with local and state health authorities and following their guidance along with national and CDC recommendations and mandates. ASC also says they're screening every employee and vendor. Employees there are wearing masks, and they have a strict no visitor policy except for end-of-life situations. If you're concerned about conditions at a facility, you can reach out to the state or local long-term long-term care ombudsman that acts as the mediator between the residents, their families, and also the facilities. We've included links on how to do all of this in our story on the RTV6 mobile app and also at the IndyChannel.com. We're also working to get more information about how COVID-19 is being handled at Veterans Affairs Medical Center right here in Indianapolis. An employee at the VA hospital is among those who's died from the coronavirus, and the VA says at least 57 other workers there have tested positive. The VA says all employees who have the virus are in isolation to prevent the spread. Nationwide, more than 1,000 VA workers have tested positive for COVID-19 so far. There have also been reports of some VA medical centers rationing masks and other medical supplies for their employees. The number of new claims of unemployment surges yet again. Nationally, more than 6.6 million people filed for unemployment for the first time last week. Here in Indiana, the total was more than 133,000. That's down only slightly from the previous week. Keep in mind that the state typically processes only around 3,000 claims for unemployment per month. ABC's Alex Perche has more on how Washington is responding.
Just outside of Miami, a traffic jam to pick up unemployment applications.
We've given out hundreds and hundreds of applications.
Police directing would-be applicants in cars because just days earlier in the same spot, chaos. Crowds pushing and shoving, ignoring social distancing, desperate to file their unemployment claims.
Everybody out here is risking their lives to get this application.
The jobless situation here mirrored across much of the country, as 6.6 million filed for unemployment last week. That's just under the record claims set the previous week. Now, more than 16 million have filed in the past 3 weeks.
I have not paid one bill since this all happened.
Cheryl Esposito of New York has been trying to file for weeks after the state's website repeatedly crashed.
I've calculated over 2,000 attempts to call. I'm worried about putting food in my mouth.
The Treasury Secretary saying those $1,200 stimulus checks are set to hit accounts beginning early next week if you have direct deposit. And today, the Federal Reserve committing another $2.3 trillion to support the cratering economy, mainly through a lending program for small and medium-sized businesses that also provides additional credit to banks so they have liquidity to make those loans. Also today, new research suggesting that COVID-19 may have been circulating in New York in mid-February, earlier than initially thought, and that most of the cases came from Europe, not China. One of the country's top health experts, Dr. Anthony Fauci, responding to the research on Good Morning America.
I think that's probably correct, given the travel and the air traffic from anywhere in Italy, but also particularly northern Italy. It's just not surprising that, unfortunately and inadvertently, New York was seeded before they really knew what was going on.
The Trump administration has continued to try to shift blame for this outbreak to the World Health Organization. Vice President Pence telling Fox News in an interview that at the right time, tough questions should be asked. But as for the U.S. cutting funding to the organization, he said he believed those funds would continue to flow for now. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
You aren't driving as much anymore, at least you aren't supposed to be, so why are you still paying full price for car insurance? Next, how one group is pushing insurance companies to give you some of that money back. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a very windy day across central Indiana. The sun is shining, though. That is the good news, but that too will be changing as we get into the afternoon hours. We'll talk about the wind and the showers heading our way coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
General Hospital, this week on ABC.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 pandemic means fewer cars are on the roads, and that means fewer people are ending up in crashes. Call 6 Investigates finds that car crashes in Indianapolis and Marion County dropped by 27% in March compared to March of last year. There were also big drops in the number of injuries and deaths from car crashes year to year. With the roads more empty, you may be tempted to drive faster since you have more room, but IMPD reminds you that you still need to obey those traffic laws. Well, because you are driving less, a consumer watchdog group believes that your car insurance company should give you some money back. The Consumer Federation of America sent a letter to the Indiana Department of Insurance. The letter is asking the department to pressure auto insurance companies to give some relief to its customers. The state insurance department told Call 6 Investigates that some companies already are offering rebates or other cost adjustments, but the Consumer Federation says dozens of other companies have not yet. Well, it was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, but it came close to costing a college student his life. Coming up, that student is now back home in Carmel with his own COVID-19 story to tell. That's coming up after the break.
I just wanted to share my story because I didn't really see a lot of individual perspectives on people who had firsthand experience kind of dealing with the virus.
Elliot Choi there is a college student from Carmel. He is back at home from a study abroad trip that was cut short by the coronavirus pandemic. Now Elliot is sharing his story with RTV6's Cornelius Hawker, what he experienced in Spain and how he likely had the COVID-19 virus himself.
This is video of Elliot Choi getting swabbed by a Spanish healthcare worker to see if he has coronavirus.
My roommate Luke and I both had a fever for like 2 days. I had chills. I had a headache, sore throat for about a week.
Telltale signs of the virus, which makes sense because he and his roommate hung out with someone who tested positive. Elliot's 2-week quarantine in Barcelona, Spain began as the pandemic got worse.
A week ago, we had 200 cases in Spain.
Yeah, it was like
and now what is it at?
Yeah.
It's like over 2,000 now.
As cases and deaths started to rise, so did the anxiety of Americans in Europe facing travel restrictions. But thankfully, Elliot made it back home. That's where I talked to him in his room, where he quarantined himself for another 3 weeks to keep his family safe.
Being in Spain and seeing that, everyone in the Barcelona airport was wearing a face mask, and then coming to the U.S. and seeing that, even the airport employees weren't wearing any protection, that was really kind of surprising to me. And it made me realize kind of the difference between the general sentiment about the virus in Europe versus even here in the States.
With more than 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, Elliot knew it was important to share his story to get people to start taking the coronavirus pandemic seriously.
It's just important to do your part and stay at home.
It's been right around 3 weeks since he took that test in Spain, and he still hasn't gotten his results. He tells me he doesn't think he ever will. And back here in the U.S., he tried to get tested, but he ran into roadblocks like lots of folks are. He was told that it had been too long since he had symptoms, since he'd been in contact with someone who was positive. And he was also told that the place where he was trying to get tested actually didn't have any tests. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Cornelius, thank you. The United Way, Second Helpings, and the Alexander Hotel working together to provide food to people in need. The hotel's restaurant has been turned into a satellite kitchen for Second Helpings and other organizations. The restaurant's chefs say they're preparing the same type of meals as the ones they would serve to their usual guests.
You're not lowering the standards at all.
No, not at all. That's something that we've really strived to. Chef and I sat down and talked, and we don't want to make it just okay. Everybody deserves a really good meal. Every single person deserves something the best of our ability. So we've done our part in making it as good as we can possibly do, and stuff that we eat. If we're going to make it, we want to eat it.
Second Helping says before COVID-19, the organization delivered around 22,000 meals a week to the community. This week, the group is on track to deliver 50,000 meals, thanks in part to those satellite kitchens. RTV6 is also working together with the United Way of Central Indiana. We are teaming up for the COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. The fund will support organizations that serve people and communities affected by the pandemic. You can donate by texting HELP 2020 to 91999 or by visiting our website that's on your screen right now, COVID19CERF.org. Right now, we do want to get a check of our forecast on this Thursday. Todd, I wish we could have a repeat of what we had yesterday during this time, but it is a lot cooler out there.
Yeah, we have the sunshine. That's the good news, Lauren. But you're right. It's cooler, and it's still very windy. This is a live look in Bloomington, and you can see the camera kind of shaking, and that's because of the wind that is out there. And there is a wind advisory that's in place for parts of central Indiana. The temperatures, they sit in the 40s to right around 50 degrees in Bloomington as well as Martinsville. It's 49 in Indianapolis as well as Muncie. And those temperatures, they are not going to warm much more here throughout the remainder of the day, unfortunately. And that's because of not only the wind speed, but the wind direction. You see those arrows are coming from the northwest. That's the direction that the wind is coming from. 32-mile-per-hour wind gust at the top of the hour in Indy. 37 was the peak wind gust at the top of the hour up in the Lafayette area. And as we go forward hour by hour in this forecast, you notice we get up to 50, 51 degrees, and then we hold just kind of steady through the 6 o'clock hour before the temperatures slowly start to fade back down into the 40s as we work our way into the evening hours. hours. Now, it's completely sunny right now. There's hardly a cloud in the sky in Indiana, but you have to take your attention north of Chicago there, back towards Green Bay, Minneapolis. You see some rain and snow showers. Those will be heading our way as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. It's mainly just going to be some rain showers throughout the evening. They're all light. They're all very spotty as well. This is not a soaking rainfall or a heavy rainfall, but notice here in TrueCast at 8 o'clock, we're starting to mix in the potential of at least a few isolated snowflakes that could linger to the midnight hour. We're not going to see any accumulation, but here we are after a high of 70 yesterday in severe weather, talking about the potential of a few flakes that will be around. Now, overnight tonight, the skies will clear a little bit, and that will set us up for a very, very cold overnight period as temperatures get back down to right around freezing in northern locations, just above freezing across the rest of central Indiana. It's going to be a shock to a lot of those spring flowers that are out across the area as well. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s. The wind, not as much of an issue for us tomorrow. And then looking ahead to the weekend, partly sunny on Saturday. It's a dry day at 56. Easter Sunday, a little bit warmer as we get to more seasonable levels temperature-wise with a temperature of 60 degrees. But we'll also have to bring some scattered showers back into the forecast for Easter Sunday. It does not look like it's going to be a washout. That is the good news if you do have some Easter plans or maybe an outdoor egg hunt with your family in your backyard. And then as we continue in the 7-day forecast, once we get past Easter, look at these temperatures. Very chilly. Highs only, Lauren, in the 40s and 50s throughout much of next week.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. A downtown Indy pastry shop that specializes in colorful sweet treats is still serving customers. RTV6's Brad Brown shows you, like many other local businesses, the shop is also finding ways to give back to those serving on the front lines during this pandemic.
In baking circles, these tiny bits are a tough cookie to master. But the crew at Indy's Macaron Bar on Mass Ave have pretty much perfected the process.
It's a great opportunity to serve customers who are still looking for something to enjoy in this time. And it also is helping us keep as much of our staff employed as possible, which is really important to us, that we keep a paycheck in the hands of our staff that we can.
2 pillowy soft wafers with just the right amount of sweetness sandwiched in the middle. Nathan Sivitz and his bakery wizards continue to put together hundreds every day.
We were looking for ways we could contribute and keep operating, keep our bakers busy, and this was a great way, I think, to do that.
They're sharing these sweet treats with medical personnel all over the region. You can donate a dozen or several dozen macarons to workers who deserve a little something extra.
Pretty much everybody we know probably has somebody in their lives, a family member, somebody they know that is in healthcare, working either on the front lines or at a doctor's office or wherever. And we knew that it was one small way we could help those folks.
Macaron Bar has their menu available for takeout and delivery, and demand continues to be high.
Since we've opened it up to allow our customers to also contribute to that effort, there's been a great response there too, and people are really looking for ways they can give back while they're at home, maybe not able to help out directly.
Macaron Bar has already donated more than 4,000 cookies to local medical staffs. They also have locations in Louisville, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Columbus. By the way, May 23rd is known as Macaron Day. Hopefully by then we can all get together to enjoy a treat. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Working for you.
A wind advisory remains in effect until 8 p.m. from Indianapolis to the north here throughout the day today. So be aware of that. Gust up to about 40 miles per hour. Your 7-day planning forecast shows temperatures right around 50 today. A few spotted showers this evening. Tomorrow, 49, a mixture of sun and clouds. A little warmer over the weekend. But Lauren, for Easter Sunday, we do bring some rain showers back into the forecast.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you come back tonight and join us for the news at 5 o'clock. Be safe on this Thursday and have a great afternoon.